Well, hey, good evening, everyone. Welcome back to my little gardening show. Down in the basement grow room, we're putzing around and starting some more microgreens, so I thought I'd take you along, show you what I'm doing. So more than likely, I'll seed 8 trays tonight. I've got some broccoli here. We've got some radishes, purple radishes there. And then I've got some spots here reserved for peas and sunflowers. With the peas and the sunflowers, they need to soak to soften up the seed coats. Those seeds are really hard. So they're going to soak for at least 4 hours, and that should be good enough. I mean, you can soak them up to 12 hours, but I did 4 last time with the sunflowers and it worked out just fine. So later tonight I'll be coming back and I'll be seeding those trays. And then once everything's seeded, I'll mist them with my spray bottle there. And then we'll cover them with paper towels, dampen those down, and we'll put a top on here, put our probe into one of the trays, put a lid on it. And that should make it a really nice environment for these things to sprout. Within about probably 3 days, we'll have some decent sprouts. Some of them may take a little bit longer. Once they're going pretty good, I'll remove the cover and we'll remove the paper towels from the tops. The reason for the paper towels is that I want there to be a little bit of a pressure, and also to keep it nice and moist. I could cover it with potting soil, but it's just going to make the greens a little messier, dirtier, where I will have to spend some extra time cleaning them. Whereas if I use paper towels on these individual trays, it keeps them nice and clean, and they're just easier to harvest, and I don't have to wash them or rinse them. I can just put them in the bags, and then as we're using them, rinse them if I need to, but most of the time I don't have to. So one thing, there's a couple different ways you can grow these. Some people do it hydroponically using like hemp mats, or even like synthetic mats, and just irrigate it, but from what I read, growing them in soil, they've got a little bit better flavor, which makes sense. It makes sense because typically, you're allowing them to root down, and they're able to draw up nutrients from however you make your potting mix. Now you can use a sterile potting mix and not have any kind of real inputs, and they'll root down, they'll sprout, and they'll do fine. But you'll actually get a higher yield if you add a little bit of fertilizer or you amend the potting mix. So for me, I've got some Pro Mix that I use as kind of the base. And then I've got some worm castings. And then I've got this Growers Mix. It's got all kinds of stuff in it. It's got some finished compost and bone meal. It's got some worm castings in it as well. It's got all kinds of stuff in there. Then I put in a little bit of this, about a tablespoon. And then I've got some micronized rock dust. This is, I think, azomite. I'm just using what I have on hand. I use in my potting mix to start my plants when I'm growing seedlings for the garden. I think if I didn't do that, I'd probably go with Elliot Coleman's potting mix, where I would have my Pro Mix as kind of the base, and then I would have worm castings, and I would use like some kind of fertilizer, green sand, or a blood meal or something to amend things. But the big thing is that we're giving those little plants nutrients, because we're planting them pretty dense. They're rooting down. They're trying to produce their first set of leaves, which is when we want to harvest them. And so they're going to be drawing up some nutrients. Typically after the cotyledon leaves appear is when you need to start feeding the plants if you're starting seedlings. And then they're going to produce their first true leaves. So it kind of makes sense to have some nutrients in there for them to draw up and get bigger faster. You know, other growers are not necessarily doing that, and that's fine, but I don't know if you're getting the nutrient content then in the greens. You know, there's a whole adage that if you feed the soil will feed the plants, and the plants will feed you. So the better growing medium you have, the more nutrient dense it is, the more nutrient dense your plants are going to be, and then what you consume, you're going to get more minerals, vitamins and minerals. So right now we're growing them in potting mix, and these are little 5x5 trays. I got this from bootstrapfarmer.com. They're really nice. And just doing this as a hobby, small scale, or small scale, this works just fine. I find that one of these trays will fill up a quart-sized bag, Ziploc bag, pretty nice. You know, once they're full grown, I just take a sharp knife and go along and harvest everything and try to pull them out as I'm cutting. And they come out pretty clean. Put them in my Ziploc bags, and then they'll store 7 to 10 days, you know, without getting nasty. And you can put them on anything. You can put them on your breakfast in the morning if you're making eggs. You can put them on your pizza. You can put them on, I mean, you can have them as a salad. But they're a really nice topper. You can eat them fresh. You can juice them. I'm actually going to do, let me show you. I've got this wheatgrass. It's really good for juicing. So I'm going to, you know, a lot of people will sprout these and eat them. Some people get this stuff and they'll grind it up in the grain and make bread out of it. But I'm going to not just sprout them, but let them grow. You know, have some greens, and then once they're a pretty nice size, you know, probably 4 or 5 inches tall, we'll cut them and then we'll juice them. They're not, once they get past the sprouting phase, they're not really intended for fresh eating, because I mean, literally it'd be like you're eating grass. So, but they're really good for juicing. To get like green juice is like a base for, you know, for juicing. So just experimenting, seeing how things go. This will be the first time that I'm doing peas, so I'm really interested to see how those turn out. And sunflowers are excellent. Actually, we'll go upstairs here and I'll show you kind of the a little bit of the finished product. All right, so we're upstairs. Here's a bag of sunflower microgreens that I harvested this morning. It's equivalent of 2 of those little 5x5 trays. Then got a mixture of broccoli and radishes, rainbow radish, and I think it's Waltham 29 broccoli. There's an equivalent of 5 of those 5x5 trays. But here they are, and they're just really neat. Each one has a little bit different flavor profile as well as a mineral profile. A lot of them share the same nutrients. Again, these are nutrient dense. The radishes, you know, a good source of vitamins A, B, C, E, and K. It's got calcium, iron, potassium, zinc. So really good for you. The broccoli is a real powerhouse. It's got all kinds of stuff in it. B vitamins, iron, potassium. It's fiber rich, got magnesium, I think manganese, copper, zinc, and then vitamins A, C, E, and K as well. It's also got this compound called sulforaphane or something. It's a cancer-fighting compound. So really neat. Then you've got your sunflowers. What's cool about these, they've got a lot of amino acids. It's got vitamins A, B, C, D, and E, K, calcium, iron, potassium, selenium, I think zinc. And then the other thing about these, they got this stuff called phytosterols or something that can help with like cholesterol and like, you know, heart health, I guess. You know, the big thing with the microgreens is that they're anywhere from like 10 to 40 times more nutritious than like the full-size equivalent. Which, you know, kind of it's like, really? But when you think about it, everything's kind of condensed down into, you know, you're getting it right there in its smallest form, so all the nutrients aren't like spread out through the plant. Plus, you're getting a handful of these as opposed to one little sprig or a couple sprigs of broccoli or something. You're getting like the equivalent of the whole plant. You're getting, you know, however many you get in a handful, you know, maybe 15 sprigs, you know, so you're getting a lot of, potentially a lot more vitamins and minerals eating microgreens as opposed to the full-size equivalent. Plus you're eating them fresh, they're tender, just really good. They're also pretty easy to grow. I mean, most of them will be sprouted within you know, ready to harvest within 5 to, you know, maybe up to 15 days, but most of them like 5 to 7 days have been my experience. And maybe I'm cutting them too early. I could let them go a little bit longer, but so far some pretty good success. So we're gonna head back down to the grow room and finish out what we're doing there, and then go from there. So hope you guys have a great weekend. Until next time, happy gardening. Bye.